The Kingdom of Sweden, a country in northern Europe bordering Norway, Finland, and Denmark, contains many surprises that we have never known. Explaining the question why Sweden has to import garbage, knowing the truth makes every country admire it. Have you ever heard of the prohibitions and strange habits in Sweden, or the fact that Sweden does not want to lose the favor of anyone, but because of Vietnam, they dare to oppose the United States? Along with countless special facts waiting for you, let's join the top 10 mysteries in the video, 7 Unexpected and Strange Facts Only in Sweden. Why Sweden has to import garbage. A fact that seems ridiculous but is even more true is that at the end of 2016, the Swedish government faced a very serious problem. The country had run out of all waste. While each Swede generates 460 kilograms of waste per year, the country has a total of 4.4 million tons of garbage. Running out of garbage as much as possible, but Sweden plays a strange game, which is to take the trouble to import garbage from other parts of the world, such as England, Norway, Italy, and then get paid when they come to pick up garbage and dispose of it for their country. You might think the country is short of money to do so, but don't forget it's among the richest in the world. In fact, Sweden has to import about 2 million tons of garbage every year to keep the garbage treatment plant operating, and Sweden sees that the transportation fee for importing garbage from other countries is expensive. So pay attention to the garbage floating on the Pacific Garbage Island. So the question arises, what is the use of importing garbage? The first is that 99% of waste in Sweden is recycled, whereby only 1% of waste is sent to landfills, 52% is converted into energy, and the remaining 47% is recycled. For unfinished medicines, 43% of Swedes bring leftover medicines to pharmacies to buy. Paper is crushed into crumbs to create new paper, plastic bottles are melted to create new items, leftovers become fertilizer. Even burning garbage is enough electricity to power 250,000 homes and heat 950,000 households, which is extremely necessary for a country where the temperature dropped the most to 43.60 C. So Sweden has turned garbage into money. It also helps the Earth reduce about 2.2 million tons of carbon dioxide per year, reducing the risk of global warming, and the ozone layer can cause people to suffocate. To do this, they put the concept of recycling garbage into textbooks, instilling ideas in students when they are still in school. The garbage collection truck is also powered by electricity or biogas, even made the trash can play music. Specifically, the government has invited famous artists to record songs and make public trash cans with speakers to make garbage dumping more comfortable and fun. People in this country are also very aware of sorting garbage according to stickers. They also created an automatic vacuum system in residential areas and an underground garbage storage system, so it is correct to say that Sweden is spotlessly clean. And yet, there is also a game of exchanging garbage for money at garbage collectors in supermarkets. No wonder this Vietnamese girl spent one day picking up bottle ticks on the street. When she put all the bottles into the collection machine, she received 2 vouchers totaling 31 krona, 3 USD. If the can is dented, the machine will not recognize it. At this momentum, Sweden will gradually move towards the threshold of 0% domestic waste instead of 1% as it is now, and that's why Sweden has to import garbage. I don't know when other countries will be like this. Who can predict for me? Next, we go to see a country full of money, but they don't show it to anyone and the real underground rule behind it. The country is among the richest in the world. Currently, this country of 10 million people is one of the countries with the highest billionaire rate in the world with 43 billionaires, with assets of over 1 billion USD, equivalent to 4 billionaires per million people, twice the rate in the United States. And the hourly wage in Sweden is 12 USD per hour after tax. For cleaning and babysitting work, that money is equal to 1 whole working day in Vietnam. And this is a series of items that Vietnamese girls buy at the supermarket when spending 1 hour of work. There is milk, there are snacks, fruits. And what does your 1-hour salary buy? Share it with everyone in the comments. In particular, Ingvar Kamprad, the founder of the IKEA furniture store chain, is Sweden's richest billionaire with a fortune of 58.7 billion. Despite owning a huge fortune, he still maintained the habit of living frugally throughout his life. For 20 years, the Swedish billionaire still drove an old Volvo, regularly booked cheap plane tickets, and dined at budget restaurants. He even went to important events by bus. By the time he died at the age of 91, his heirs were only entitled to a meager fortune of $10 billion and were not allowed to directly run the empire. That is probably partly due to the following rule. Prohibitions and strange habits in Sweden. In fact, if you show off in Sweden, you will be talked about by your neighbors right away. It is the Jantelagen rule, don't show off, that has made the people of this country have a deep aversion to talking about their success and wealth. Although Östermalm is Stockholm's wealthiest central neighborhood with giant yachts, luxury bars, and the most expensive real estate block in the capital, it is almost impossible to find a resident here who frankly shows off his wealth. There is also a prohibition on dancing on the streets. In order to dance, you must have the relevant permits required for dance activities, otherwise you will be punished. The next prohibition law is the prohibition of physical punishment of children. Normally, any child who shows signs of spoilage will be beaten by his parents with sandals or broom handles, rattan whips, but doing so in Sweden is prohibited. Instead, they use soft words and look into their children's eyes. It can be seen that the country is quite concerned about children. Even parents with children will be able to ride the bus for free, and there are many other free activities such as libraries and museums, typically Junabacken, especially for children. One more thing is that children can only buy candy on Saturday every week. Swedes love eating sweets so much that they even have a special tradition to celebrate the occasion. Lördagsgodis, which means Sweet Candy Saturday. The average Swede eats about 16 kilograms of candy per year, which is 3 times the average amount of sugar recommended by the World Health Organization, WHO. However, after publishing research on the consequences of sweets left on the mouth, radio stations, door-to-door leaflets, and posters on the streets encouraged young Swedes to brush their teeth and eat less sweets. Since then, Swedes have followed this recommendation and chosen Saturday as the only day of the week to enjoy candy. Besides the prohibition, there are also unique habits. They like to speak loudly anytime and anywhere, thereby making it difficult for people to hear. The second is obsession with numbers. Swedes use a lot of numbers, minimize words, and have many other strange habits with numbers. For example, if asked to describe their house, they simply say 2 or 39, which means that the house consists of a double room or an area of 39 square meters. The personal identification number consists of 10 digits. When asked for age, young people usually say the year of birth, not the age. Next is the case where you talk to any Swede for more than 5 minutes. That person will automatically become a hugging friend forever, HFF. And since then, whenever you see each other, you have to hug that person when you meet and say goodbye. There is also a principle when it comes to kissing the cheeks. While the French or Germans kiss both sides of the cheek, the Swedes usually kiss each other 3 times on both cheeks for women. After all, the strangest must be that the culture of not inviting food is rated 1 star by the world all the time. Accordingly, the host does not have the habit of inviting strangers to eat and considers it normal for guests to sit and watch him eat. This is a series of posts that have been confirmed by people who have been through Sweden to be 100% correct, but not all Swedes are the same. This is also one of the happiest countries in the world. Why do you say Sweden is a happy country? First of all, it must be mentioned the policy for fathers to take maternity leave. Specifically, when the child has just been born, the father is also entitled to 10 days of paid leave. Until the child goes to school, parents only need to work 6 hours a day, and until the child is 12 years old, they will have an unlimited number of sick days. And yet, for each child under 16 years old, parents are given $125 a month. So sometimes many people still vow to be fathers and mothers raising children for a long time. And if you look at which country has the most tax-loving people in the world, Sweden is definitely a good candidate. In 2017, the Swedish central bank even had to complain about people paying too much tax. By the end of 2016, the country had a budget surplus of $9.5 billion, and nearly half of this was people's tax surplus. Why are people so enthusiastic about paying taxes? Imagine a Swedish citizen who is born. The government will feed them to school until they are 18 years old. If you can't find a job after graduating, the government will support you to find a job or pay a decent amount of unemployment benefits. When it comes to going to work, the government will allow 6 hours of work instead of 8 hours a day. In retirement, the government will feed with the world's highest pension. Therefore, even though taxes sometimes have to pay 60% of income, people still do not complain. Besides, the secret of the Swedish people's happy life is lagom, which implies just enough, not too much, not too little. In addition, going to the forest to play in this country is also given money. Accordingly, the Swedish government will spend a huge amount of money to subsidize those who want to enter the forest. There is free vegetable picking here that grows all over the Swedish forest. People are free to pick flowers at any time while walking in the mountains and grafting the trees they see. Of course, this is not always happy because the Nordic country has recently been linked to terrorist gangs that cause social disorder. And the unexpected reality here is that 15% of Swedes are at risk of falling into poverty and rising inflation. So many people have to go to the branch of the Swedish Red Cross to buy damp goods from supermarkets at cheap prices. Next is one related thing between Vietnam, Sweden, and the United States. Sweden dares to oppose the US because of Vietnam. You may not have noticed, but Sweden is the first Western country to establish diplomatic relations with Vietnam. When the war passed, this was also the leading country in supporting Vietnam's economic renewal and development. Some typical projects that Sweden has cooperated with or donated to Vietnam are Hanoi National Children's Hospital, Uong Bi Hospital, Bai Bong Paper Factory, and Pu Tho. That is the present. The past is even more special. Specifically, at the beginning of the 19th century, Sweden was a neutral country. They did not participate directly in any wars, including 2 world wars. To maintain this policy, they have been clever in foreign relations, avoiding losing the favor of the great powers. However, it disappointed the United States when it publicly supported Vietnam in the 1960s. Behind him were 2 Swedish medical students named Asa Hallström and Skold Peter Mathis, who sided with the righteous Viet Cong. In June 1965, they mobilized thousands of protesters to Hortorget Square in the center of Stockholm. Everyone together leaflet, "Request the United States to abide by the 1954 Geneva Convention and leave Vietnam." After that, the 2 heroic young men were arrested and brought to court with prison sentences of 12 days and 50 days, respectively. This event was published in the media and made the movement known throughout Sweden. Peace-loving people stood up and joined the growing group, eventually spreading throughout the country under the name Vietnam Movement. The Swedish people also regularly organize rallies, demonstrations, organize research groups on Vietnam, publish newsletters, donate autographs, and raise money in public places. Now let's clarify the truth to help you no longer be confused. Let go of Google. Confusion between Switzerland and Sweden. A well-known misconception is that 120,000 people a year ask Google if Switzerland and Sweden are the same country. Even world leaders have been confused about these 2 countries. Faced with this situation, the Swedish Tourism Board decided to produce a video by Visit Sweden titled, "Welcome to Sweden, not Switzerland." and posted it on social networks. In the video, an official representative stands on a podium between two Swedish flags, addressing Swiss leaders and citizens. She claimed that it was time to clarify the differences between the two countries by deciding who talks about what. Switzerland can talk about mountain peaks, yodels, and clocks, and Sweden has rooftop bars, silence, and forgetfulness of time. While Switzerland has the largest gold reserves in the world, Sweden has forest gold. Specifically, every autumn, Swedes look for chanterelles, a mushroom with a golden sheen. According to Visit Sweden, in Switzerland, visitors can enjoy some spectacular light shows with projectors and LED lights, but in Sweden there is no need because this Nordic country has auroras. Besides, Sweden is known as the country that never sleeps, for those who are afraid of the dark, because during the summer months, the sun never sets here. The country's passport is also one of the most powerful passports in the world. You can enter 124 countries without a visa. Funnily enough, in 2017, Sweden also put the entire country on Airbnb, an online apartment booking and rental system, for rent. So did you ever think you'd rent a country? And if there is, which country it is, please comment below. So what are the unique festivals in a special country? Let's move on to the next part. Festivals that are particularly attractive in Sweden. The first is Easter. For Christians, people will draw all kinds of colors and shapes on the fake egg and then make a wish together. The second is the Crab and Shrimp Festival. For seafood lovers, attending this festival is like going to a buffet. The difference is that there is only one dish of crab and shrimp. Besides, you will also be able to participate in delicious cooking contests with seafood as the main ingredient or admire the attractive competition of famous chefs. And then one day later, people had to be busy to participate in the Light Festival again. During the ceremony, there will be a little girl chosen to become the Saint Lucia, wearing a crown with candles on top, creating a shimmering light shining around her head. After that, the children will be given candy and sing Christmas songs together. In addition, Swedes also celebrate midsummer by picking fresh seasonal flowers and weaving wreaths. Finally, the Valborg Festival, all the people will light a fire together with the meaning of driving away evil and organize food and singing together. The visit to Sweden is over. Thank you for watching the video up to this moment. If you want to explore more mysterious and interesting topics, click on the Top 10 Mysteries channel. Now, goodbye, and see you again in the next videos.
With